Welcome to the Picture of Success podcast. Here we speak to outstanding mid-career professionals who have made their mark at a young age. Here you can experience the journey and process they go through to achieve success and adapt the learning to achieve your own dream and purpose. And today in this show, I have Azril Hisham Abdul Hassan. Azril is the current CEO of Boustead Technology, being handpicked to be in this role from the oil and gas industry. But before Azril was a CEO of Boustead Technology, Azril was an electrical engineer in training who started his career in Scotland, UK, before coming back to Malaysia and serving Shell Malaysia in various roles in its upstream and downstream operation. Azril had a couple of years in stint in the service side of oil and gas industry before actually joining PETRONAS Group Technical Solution. While in PETRONAS, Azril has handled a number of technology projects. And as I mentioned today, Azril is pushing the boundaries and pushing forward Boustead Technology agenda and positioning the company into a new era of step out, reinvention, and growth. Azril, it's an honor to have you in this show.
Thanks, Azril. An honor to me as well. And I think you have covered most of my background actually. And I thank you again for inviting me to this podcast. Yeah?
It is my pleasure. I know someone successful and I like to share their success story to others. And you, Azril, is one of the picture of success that my audience would like to see.
Right.
I hope this could be benefit to whoever that watching this. Thank you again.
My pleasure. But Azril, we've worked together for a number of years, Azril, right? And I've known you well. I've known you during our Teta session, during our official sessions and stuff like that. But actually, for the benefit audience, why don't you tell something about yourself? A bit about yourself.
Thank you again, Yazid. I think you have covered most of my an introduction about myself just now. Yeah. Well, as Yazid mentioned, I'm an engineer by background, and I'm always proud to be an engineer. And I always passionate about people. I passionate about how I want to coach people and how I want to bring out of the talents in the people. Yeah. And of course, I have my hobbies as well. Yeah. I'm very active in sports.
Wow.
But recently, when I took up this job, I couldn't do that as much as I can. Yeah, I'm very active in badminton, and I don't like golf. I'm not like a typical C-level that always play golf. I don't like golf.
You're a
I'm
new
very
CEO.
passionate. I like Formula One.
Wow.
I think Formula One is a good showcase of a lot of things: leadership, how you manage crisis, how you handle and pivot in any situation. Recently, I followed Formula One quite active. Yeah, I like Formula One. Well, I'm from Selangor. I spent most of the time in Klang, Shah Alam. I was a Lasallian. I was in. Yes, I was a Lasallian. And after that, I went to Technical Institute of Kuala Lumpur in Shiraz, where I spent 2 years over there. And after that, I went into University Technology Mara, where I took my diploma and degree in electrical engineering. After that, that's where I went to Scotland. I landed a job over there as an electrical engineer. I spent, I think, about 2 to 3 years over there, where I've got my experience in North Sea. I've worked in nuclear power plant, gas plant, and after that, I landed a job in Shell. Yeah, I think my career journey about Shell and PETRONAS you have covered just now. So that's a little bit an introduction about myself. That's it.
Nice. I like the fact that you take some of your passion and actually turn it into something insightful. Like you said, when you talk about the when you talk about Formula One, you say you like that because there's a different aspect of
Yep.
things about leadership and everything, right? And the way you put this up, it just shows that you always think about how a leader should be, right? And I believe this is why one of the reasons why you are in your current position as a CEO of Boustead Technology, right? But you know, for some of us who have not yet tasted the being a CEO or aspire to be a CEO, right? What is a CEO job look like? Right? Could you describe what do you do as a CEO and as a leader of one of the leaders in Boustead Corp?
Okay. I was Alhamdulillah, I was scouted for this job. Yeah. And I think because of my portfolio in PETRONAS before, that related to technology, then that's where I think people and how I portray myself in LinkedIn, for example, how I create my network, how I create the synergy between the people and the leaders in other industry as well, and how I portray, how I push technology. I think most probably that's how I was scouted by Boustead management. Yeah. I had that conversation with them for about couple of months before I decided to join them. One of the reasons that I really interest and what really make me join them because of the reinvention or the transformation that the management want to do with Boustead. Yeah, if you look at Boustead, Boustead brick and mortars business are plantation, pharma niaga related to pharmaceutical, and they have properties. They have hotels as well. Royal Chulan hotels are all belong to Boustead. They have shopping malls, the Curve, My Town, and even bank, yeah, Affin Bank. So these are all the brick and mortars of their core business. So they have created this reinvention strategy and the second growth engine. And the second growth engine there were two things in second growth engine. One is technology and one is digital. So that's how they have created Boustead Technology Sdn Bhd as well as Boustead Digital Sdn Bhd. So these two entities, we were mandated to push Boustead into and to position Boustead into a new era. We were mandated, I am mandated to bring new business stream to Boustead, yeah, to bring new revenue stream to Boustead. And as a leader, as a CEO, when I came in, it's not just, of course, at the end of the day, you want to bring a new business. It's at the end of the day, it's about profitability. But as a CEO, as a leader, I need to create a new culture in Boustead.
It's about the people.
Yes, I brought in people and I scouted people, and I need to create a new talent group that regards to technology, technical, and totally a new culture, a new environment. So that's what have been mandated to me as a CEO of Boustead Technology, and of course, not just creating a new revenue stream and new business stream to Boustead. I need to create the synergy as well across the group. Like I mentioned to you just now, we have a lot of operating companies. We call it operating companies. We have Boustead Plantation Sdn Bhd, we have Pharma Niaga, we have Boustead Heavy Industry, Royal Chulan. So how Boustead Technology can help to create this synergy across
creating more value as well, in a sense, right?
Creating more values, yes. So that's basically what I've been mandated as a CEO of Boustead Technology. Yeah?
Right. So obviously, you know, it's all about the people, it's about the strategies, about synergizing, it's about creating a different culture, a different experience, and to do that, you definitely need to actually curate your career. You need to curate your experiences so that you can be where you are today, right? So I guess your career and your experiences has led to where you are today, right? So if you could summarize, or if you could just look at your career points from the start to right now, right? can you describe your career journey and what kind of skills that you need to pick up for anyone to master to be eventually become a CEO in a sense, right? From your point of view.
It's quite interesting, is it? It's actually started from the beginning. I'm a type of person that if I want to do something, I plan it properly, I plan it in my mind, and I work for it. I always apply this law of attraction. Yeah. When I was still in study, I always tell myself that one day I will get a PE. I would like to have an IR in front of my name.
Professional engineer,
and
right? PE.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I work for it. So what I've done, I've properly charted and I've properly put my journey since my study days. Yeah. I've put in my mind that I would like to get all the professional certificate, all the professional with regards to engineering by before at the age of 35. Where I've achieved my PE, I've achieved my chartership before 35 years old. And with that, I also put a charter that before 45, I would like to go into management. I would like to go into a C-level. And Alhamdulillah, I've got that. And how I charter my journey, I think your introduction also mentioned that I've spent most of my time in oil and gas, in technical. So I want to gain as much as I can the technical competency, the field experience. And I've spent, I think I've covered the entire value chain of oil and gas, from downstream, from upstream, and from operation, technical authority, plant environment, you name it. I've covered the whole value chain. So that is actually the essential skill for you, to me, at least personally to me, for you to be a good leader, for you to be in the management so that you know what's going on at the ground level, and for you to be strategically and put it into a technical plan. So that's how I plan my career. That's how I charted my career. And I think the most important is to everybody. And in fact, in my earlier conversation, I mentioned that I like to develop people. Yeah, I like people development. In fact, I like to give talks to university. I'm also an industrial advisor panel for UiTM. So I give talks to them. I mentor them. I always tell people, you need to know what you want. If you do not know what you want, then it's difficult for you to charter your career, and it's difficult for you to look what sort of skill set that desire for you to reach your goal, to reach your objective. So, yep.
Right. So I love that, right? You already know what you want earlier on. In fact, at the start of your career, you have dreamed of this position at the start of when you graduated university, right? But sometimes the dreams and what you want to do, what you want to get is so far apart, right? And to actually imagine the steps that needs to be taken from the start to actually achieving the dreams can be a bit fuzzy in that sense, right? Any tips to actually make that easier and much more predictable for you to actually achieve, right? And what does happen if sometimes your plan deviate? What do you need to do? Like, do you pivot, or in terms of career planning?
Of course, in whatever plan that you have, you need to have a backup plan. Yeah.
Right.
But sometimes also to have a backup plan is not good, because you can always have another backup plan. And you can have another backup plan. Then ended up you won't achieve your objective.
You won't push to your very best, right?
Yes, correct. As for me, when I target for something, I put that objective, I really work for it. And of course, yes, I have a backup plan, but I am focused more on pushing it to the objective that I've put in place. Yeah, and to do that, my backup plan, it's more to how I prepared myself to achieve that goal. And to do that, I always equip myself with the desired skill, the desired character, the desired mindset. And to do that, I do a lot of things like, for example, I do a lot of readings, yeah. And I always keep myself up to date with a lot of other things, yeah. And like I mentioned just now, networks. I always do a lot of networkings, and I do a lot of like, for example, reading. I like to read about leaders' biography. To me, this is how I learn to be a good leader, because in leaders' biography, you have a lot of lesson learned, and you know what sort of character of each and every leaders. And from there, I try to map, okay, what type of leaders I am. So that's back to what I mentioned to you. You need to know what you want.
And know
If you
who
know
you
what you
are,
want,
right?
who you are. Because if you do not know what you want and who you are, and it's difficult for you to improve yourself, and it's difficult for you to push. So that's what that's my principle, Yazid, and how yeah.
I like that, right? You know, knowing what you want, knowing where you are. Now the
Yep.
next thing is to know which gap. I think a lot of career
Correct.
planning is not knowing what you want to be, but not knowing the gap and what kind of things that needs to be closed for that gap. I think, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
So basically, the skill is also about knowing that gap, right? And what are the skills that you require? What are the networks that you
To
require
fill in the gaps.
to fill
Yes.
in the gaps? Yeah,
Yep.
that's
Yep.
very insightful, right? You know, just like you speak just like a CEO, very strategic, very forward looking. So let's just go back to that strategic role, to role that you do, right? So as a boss, one of the Boustead head honcho for technology, you posted in LinkedIn that you would like to talk more about renewables, about sustainability technology. What is the big push on this area, and why is Boustead looking in these areas?
Okay. When you said I like to post things in LinkedIn, it's actually I'm creating my brand. I'm
Right.
creating a Boustead Technology brand. To me, that is very important for me to market to people and to tell people outside there the existence of Boustead Technology and the existence of the new CEO of Boustead Technology and how I want to push the agenda. So
Okay,
that's
we're gonna
part of
make an
my
impact. Yeah.
that's part of my branding and marketing strategy, Yazid. That's how I reach to the people outside there to tell what we are doing and to create the synergy. I think the synergy is most important. And as you're aware, Boustead Technology is a new company, a new
It
outfit.
is.
So that's how I want to create the synergy with the people outside there. How I want to reach out and how I want to get the support from the people outside there. And to do that, I've come out with the blueprint of the company, the business plan, the business strategy of the company. It's quite simple. I think you are in PETRONAS. I think you are aware and fully aware about technology. I think technology
Definitely.
everywhere is quite the same. And the dynamic between all these company and the dynamic between all the company with regards to technology outside there, I think quite similar. Yeah. So like I mentioned just now, Boustead, they have their brick and mortar businesses. Yeah. So what I try to create, I've created my 3 strategic pillars. Yeah. The pillar number 1, I call it positioning of the future. This is where how I want to position Boustead in the future
The
with
whole
regards to
group.
technology.
The whole group.
Yes, the whole group.
Yeah.
Yep. This is where I call it step out of the core business. Yeah. So the core
Beyond
business
mortar
of
and plantation.
plantation. Correct. So how I want to create this step out of the core, I've identified few elements that I want to push. One of it is new energy, rare earth, mining and minerals, and of course sustainability. So IoT, robotics, and all these elements, of course, whatever that I want to do, I want to make sure that I responding to NZCE, net zero carbon emission. I think this is the main problem at the moment. Yeah, I want to make sure that I responded to at national level NZCE by 2030 or 2050, as well as to respond to the world that we are responding in whatever we do with regards to technology. I don't want to be like shock sendiri, whatever the technology that I want to do, but I want to make sure that I responding to the world crisis, especially with regards to ESG and NZCE. So when I want to identify what sort of technology with regards to new energy, with regards to mining and minerals, with regards to sustainability, so that were my reference. Yeah. So that's pillar number one. Strategic pillar number two, it's more to growth within the core. How Boustead Technology help other opcos, help plantation, help pharma niaga, help properties, hotels, how they want to grow within their core. And two elements that I have identified. One is circular economy. Number two is smart, sustainable green city.
Right.
Circular economy can be applied in plantation, because plantation, the value chain is huge.
Right.
You have the EFP, you have the waste. So that's how Boustead Technology can help to create the growth within the plantation. How Boustead Technology help to create the growth within pharma niaga, within pharmaceutical industry. There's a lot of potential.
Right.
Yep.
You're using your core strength, your core businesses, and creating new growth using technology around these pillars of areas, right? So I would say these pillar areas are actually selected based on your core businesses, core competencies as well.
Yep. That's pillar number two. Pillar number three is quite straightforward. I call it strengthen the core. So how Boustead Technology to help this OFCO to strengthen their core, more to how they want to increase efficiency, how to increase the productivity of their core business. So those are my three strategic pillars. So whatever that I want to do, pillar number one is more on how I want to create my new business stream. Yeah. But pillar number two and pillar number three, this is where how I want to create the synergy between all the opcos.
Right. So we are going to eventually see potentially new spin-off coming from Boustead Technology based on your pillar one, I would say.
In fact, as we speak, Yazid, I'm pushing more than 5 spin-off at the moment.
Exciting times, right?
Yep.
Boustead
Just wait for it.
Boustead being the engine for new businesses and new startups.
Inshallah. What I'm pushing, Yazid, in my company, I have two main divisions. Yeah, one division is more on how we want to help startups to grow, and how I want to help startups to grow and to push their technology, because they are startups and we are conglomerate, we are GLC, we have names, we have assets, we have financial resources. So that's where the partnership come into the picture and we push them together. And once this technology has matured, that's where I'll push it into the second division, more on the project delivery, how I want to push this and deliver this as a project, and eventually to execute and operationalize it. What we have in our vision as well, Yazid, we want to create a Boustead Energy in 2-3 years time, where all the things that I've pushed, some of the, let's say for example, in element number one, I have this new energy. So eventually, whatever the technology that matured that we have pushed, and eventually will be the main core business of Boustead Energy. So some insights from there,
yeah. And more to come, ladies and gentlemen. So stay tuned in for more news from my podcast channels, where you can hear first news from Boustead Technology, right? We are coming towards the end of the show. Just one last question, Azril, right? To just wrap things up, right? We've talked about career journey, we've talked about leadership, but if you were to summarize this in your beliefs, and if you were to put it in a billboard, right? What choice of word would you like to put it on the billboard and for the world to see, and what would that message be?
It's actually reflected my character. Yeah.
Right.
What I would like to tell the people outside there: always be bold. Yeah. Dare to dream, and know what you want. That's most important, and don't pull back. Yeah.
Right.
And always apply this law of attraction and work towards it. That's my tagline. That's my message to the people outside there.
Be bold. Be
Dare to dream. Know what you want.
Know what you want.
Don't pull back. And to do that, apply the law of attractions. And of course, we as a Muslim, law of attraction, jangan just dream about it without doing anything. Yeah. So work
Act
towards
on it.
it.
Just do it, right?
And doa, inshallah.
We try our best. We have to have conviction, and that it would definitely work. Right. Okay. It has been amazing to have you, Azril, in the show. We've learned a lot from you, from leadership, from career planning, and what kind of things Boustead Technology would be doing in the future, changing the landscape of Boustead itself. New spin-off coming out, exciting news, exciting teams coming in, right? So for those who like to be in contact with you or with new ideas and new information, or even partnership, how do they do that?
I think I've mentioned about how I promote and create the brand of myself and Boustead Technology in LinkedIn. I can be contacted easily via LinkedIn. Reach out to me. Let's talk about technology.
So, ladies and gentlemen, reach out to Azril Hisham in LinkedIn, CEO of Boustead Technology, and let's talk about technology. Let's talk about how we can change the world. So, yep.
Allah.
It has been great to have you, Azril. Ladies and gentlemen, I hope you enjoyed this segment of Picture of Success with Azril, the CEO of Boustead Technology. For more of exciting contents, please subscribe to this channel, and I hope to see you in the next iteration of Picture of Success. Have a good day ahead.
Thank you, Yazid. Thank you very much. Assalamualaikum.
Waalaikumsalam.